How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at 31. This is from 2016 and is written and directed by Rob Zombie. This movie, it's a Rob Zombie movie, so of course it's going to star his wife, Sheri Moon Zombie. Also, we got Daniel Phillips, Lance Hilton-Jacobs, and also Malcolm McDowell, who you guys, if you're zombie fans, remember him from Zombie's Halloween movies. And we also feature a really stellar performance from Richard Brake in this movie. And I guess right off the bat, I should say, I really like Zombies films. There's a lot of people that really don't like Rob Zombie movies. I understand why, but at the same time, man, you live in a world that is so watered down. There's so many PG-13 horror movies, and you just kind of really appreciate something that goes for it, that pushes the grunge, you know? You watch too many tame movies, you kind of need to pop in a zombie movie, hear the characters say the F word 200 times, and watch some violent, gory death. I don't know. In a weird way, cathartic, I guess you could say. And this movie is basically Rob Zombie's Running Man. A bunch of people are kidnapped, and they're forced to go off against these crazy-looking slasher clown characters and try to survive for 12 hours for the amusement of the rich ruler class. It's an interesting idea. I mean, yeah, it's something we've seen done before, but there is a little bit of depth to it, you know, and it is a thin plot. And I will grant it that, and maybe that's why this movie isn't as memorable as some of Zombie's other movies. I will say this isn't Zombie's best film by any means, but the thin plot allows him to really focus on his style, because whether you love it or not, this shows off Zombie style quite a bit. Really gritty, really grungy. The beautiful cinematography makes it where you can almost feel it. So yeah, it's caked on pretty thick in this one. But in addition to that though, the leads really do feel like a real family of people, you know? Not by blood family, but people who have been on the road for a while, and they joke with each other, and they really do have some charisma and life behind them. The villains are all interesting as well. The main two, the first one you encounter, Sickhead down there, and then the last one, Doomhead, are very cool, iconic Rob Zombie characters. And yeah, the middle villains aren't as interesting, and this is a movie that gets so insane that when I say the middle villains aren't as interesting, I'm referring to, like, there's two characters that are twin clowns wielding chainsaws, and that's, like, the least interesting part of the movie. Yeah, this movie goes nuts. It really does swing for it. And yeah, I get some people saying that it goes way too far. But really, I'd rather have a movie go way too far and go nuts than bore me. It's always better to swing for the fences, pull off something crazy, and this movie really is crazy, and I do like it. There is a subplot, a kind of theme with the ruling class, you know, this mysterious group of people looking down on them. It's sort of like you get them, and they're actually circus workers, and all the villains are dressed up as clowns. So you can either be a worker and get killed by the system, or be a literal clown and profit from it. But the ruling class also has white powdery makeup and rosy cheeks and big aristocratic European wigs. They're European caricatures, but note how their makeup isn't that different from the clowns. Maybe it's the same thing and it goes higher and higher. I don't know. If you guys are film students, tick off your professors, write a paper about classism in Rob Zombie's 31. I would love to see it. But, with the super thick atmosphere, the over-the-top action and violence, and then the ideas, this weird circus theme behind it, there's so much going on behind the scenes of a relatively simple plot, and the absolute laid-on thick zombie style. It's not Zombie's best film, and I do think of House of a Thousand Corpses, and I do think of his Halloween series. I think of stuff like that when I think of Zombie more than this, but for a B-side, it's a really killer B-side, and I have to say, I know technically it's a bad movie. I don't care. I love it. It's fun. It's super fun. I was in a funk. I put this on because it's a Halloween movie, 31, October 31st. I remember really liking it last time I saw it. I put it on this time, and it really did help kick me out of that funk. It's one of those, you see Sickhead, and it's just such a big, over-the-top performance. I just found myself smiling. I don't care. I love this movie. It's great. Let's talk a bit about the plot in order to analyze it further. Not going to do any major spoilers, but let's take a bit to really dig down. And talking about the opening, we have to mention that monologue. We open up on the last year's Halloween with Doomhead. All the villains in this movie have clown makeup, and they all have code names that are some sort of adjective and then head. So Doomhead's there, and he's looking right at the camera, and it's a super long, unbroken take as he's giving this monologue as to why he views the world the way he does. We see the guy that he's interrogating actually try to talk him down, but we know this guy ain't gonna stop. Right off the bat, we're painted with a portrait of this unhinged psychopath, and you feel the danger there. Maybe the speech goes on a little long at times. I don't know. But boy, it's a good opening. We then cut to our main characters. Circus, I think they're all like on the engineer side of things, riding in a van. They're in the van, and there's life in them. Now, yeah, these are Rob Zombie characters. If you're not familiar with that, the dialogue will get you quite quick. These are rude, cussing people. They're going to be very, very super explicit in their dialogue, but at the same time, even though what they say is crude, you can tell from the acting and the way they interact with each other that their crude dialogue isn't meant to hurt each other, but to make fun and josh around, and ultimately you get the feeling that these people are a family, that they love and care for each other. It's this bond that they formed by being on the road for so long. They pull into a gas station because, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? And we actually get a fun scene where someone who's clearly a plant for the bad guys comes up and starts flirting with one of the guys, and she asks if they're on a hunting trip, and it's clearly prying to see if they have guns to defend themselves, which they don't. And then later on down the road, at night, they're stopped by a bunch of scarecrows, very Planet of the Apes. And of course, when they get out, they're set upon a bunch of goons wearing cartoon prison uniforms. And a lot of people die really quick. And I do like that. Get a group of tight-knit people, a little too big for a horror movie, you start picking a bunch of them off. It's like a dire Walking Dead scenario. And I really do like opening up with such this big bloody bang. It puts you in the right headspace, knowing you'll deal with danger. And what is the danger? Well, Malcolm McDowell as a cartoonish European person. And You know, you do a villain that's a rich elitist, that's a ruling class member. Yeah, why not? These characters are big, cartoonish, over the top, and I know they're going to rub some people the wrong way. But something about, like, he doesn't have a mustache, but he's such an old school mustache twirling villain that it's just, I don't know. It's part hilarious and just part insane and just, I don't know. It's goofy, but I love it. You get these people, they're making bets, you know, and that's sort of the thing, is it's all for just this game. But also a fun reversal. I like how in this movie, the heroes are the rough and grimy people, and the nice and cleaned up people are the villains. A very good switch around, and I thought that was fun. But anyway, the people wake up in their traps. You know, they're a little bit separated in this grungy looking one down warehouse thing, and they meet Sickhead. Sickhead is such an interesting character. He's a little person that adores Adolf Hitler. He's a full-fledged Nazi, and he's also, because they're all clowns, he's a clown. That is such an interesting combination of traits, and he also speaks Spanish, and he really gets in your face and starts yelling at you. There's no baked-in subtitles. Maybe if I flipped around, I could have found a translation in the subtitles, but I really like not knowing half of what Sickhead says, because you can only imagine the threats that are coming at you right now. He is such a great, intimidating character. I absolutely love it. So you get him as the first in this line of characters that they're going to have to fight, and they defeat one. They're gonna move on to the next higher up boss, and of course people are going to get injured and die along the way on their end too. So it's very much a battle, very much whittling them down. The people playing the game give them their odds of survival, and the best odds of survival I think in the whole movie are like 30-1. So it gets pretty dire, and we get to see this family go through the strain, and we get to see bloody deaths on each side. Chainsaws and guns and bats with nails in them, I think. It's just over-the-top violent insanity. And plus, the movie's under 2 hours. Sometimes Rob Zombie movies go on a little bit long. It's under 2 hours, and the pacing does work out pretty well. It ends where it should end, and it is cool. Yeah, the killers in the middle aren't as good as the first and the last characters, but man, when you get toward the end, when Doomhead from the beginning shows up again, oh boy, he is quite the villain. And it's a shame that this actor didn't get to play Joker, because he, from this performance, would make an excellent Joker, I tell you. But overall, yeah, I think that's the best way to describe this, is this is a Rob Zombie B-side, but it is a really fun B-side. It's violent, over-the-top insanity, but boy is it insane, and boy does everything get pushed to the limits. And there are some really fun moments. I know it'll be too much for a lot of people. I don't care. I like this movie. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. How about my Halloween playlist, where you can also see my review for Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween, as well as some other fun stuff. If you like this, you'll probably also like, say, Terrifier. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.